this episode of Hear Me Out, produced by Read Up Chicago magazine, we're going to be talking all things sickle cell. Some of the things I want to know, some of the things you may want to know, your friends may want to know. We're going to talk about it today, right?
Yes.
I'm your host, Shada SaidIt, and we're here with Dr. Krystal Preston, and she's going to tell us all the things that we need to know, right?
Yes.
So just first and foremost, I just want to tell the people what exactly sickle cell is, right? We should tell them that.
Yeah. So sickle cell is an inherited blood disease. You can get one trait from each parent, but there are also some people who only have the trait.
Okay. And it's an abnormal disorder affecting the red substance or the hemoglobin of your blood, correct?
Right. So hemoglobin is a protein in your red blood cells, and it helps carry oxygen all throughout your body. So with sickle cells, normally a red blood cell normally is shaped like a circle, like a donut. But when it becomes a sickle-like, it's basically like a moon shape.
Okay.
And so what happens is the cells just kind of get all blocked up, and that is what causes the pain. So that goes into the symptoms of sickle cell.
Okay. So, one, you're a doctor. But two, tell us how you identify with sickle cell.
Well, I have hemoglobin SC, so I got the S trait from my father, and I got the C trait from my mom. So out of all the different types of sickle cell, SC is a milder form. However, the symptoms, when we do experience what is called a pain crisis, it's the same magnitude as anybody else with another type of sickle cell. And different types include, like I said, SC that I have. SS is a more excruciating, severe type. Beta thalassemia, which is the one that T-Boz from TLC has. And those are the people that are typically in and out of the hospital a lot, and they have to take certain steps to keep theirs under control.
Just a small shameless plug. There is a book review, T-Boz is a Sick Life, on Read Up Chicago's magazine website. So you can check that out if you want to learn more about that.
Wonderful book.
Great. I haven't read it, but I'm going to check out the review. So according to the American Society of Hematology, study of the blood, right? You talked about that, so I didn't mispronounce it. Sickle cell has a high prevalence in people of African descent. Have you heard that before?
Yes, so it affects 1 in every 365 people, period, but it affects 1 in every 13 African American people. So it's pretty prevalent in our community.
Now, is there anything that we can do about that? Do you know where that stems from, or what?
Well, I mean, it's inherited.
Mm-hmm.
So, but the thing is, we need more funding so we could possibly find a cure. I mean, there's all sorts of treatments, especially now. We actually do have what's called a cure. It's the stem cell transplantation.
Okay.
And that's actually going on here in Chicago at University of Illinois Chicago Hospital. They're the ones who've been actively giving transplants for a little while now. And the thing is, everybody doesn't qualify for it,
right.
And it's expensive. Insurances may or may not pay for it. So it's a lot of things that go into it.
A lot of different factors.
Yes.
I just want to speak personally. My aunt Carrie, if you're watching this, love you, Carrie. She has sickle cell as well, and she is like always being admitted to the hospital. I'm not sure what kind she has, but I'm sure she has like the one that you spoke about, that has you always admitted in and out of the hospital. Right. And the thing about Carrie is she's such a fighter, but Carrie has 2 teenage daughters. So for Carrie always being in the hospital, someone has to watch her kids. So Can you speak to just kind of how sickle cell may like throw kind of like a rut in your lifestyle?
Well, yes.
This episode of Hear Me Out was brought to you by our sponsor, The Water Therapist. Check out their website at www.thewatertherapist.com. The Water Therapist was founded and created in summer of 2016. The brand was influenced on an infused alkali spring water form containing over 32 flavors. The Water Therapist continues to grow with a variety of products that contributes to a mentally healthier lifestyle. All items are natural and ecosystem friendly. They believe in a cost-effective way to live. Head on over to their website where you'll find a 10% off coupon by using code RUCKMAG with online purchases only.
I'll go back to the symptoms. So basically, when you're having a sickle cell crisis, you have a lot of excruciating pain. And there are other things associated with it, such as shortness of breath. You have like a pale color to yourself. You'll have a lot of fatigue, just a lot of things going on. But mostly, the thing I want you guys to remember is the vaso-occlusive crisis causes pain, excruciating pain. So obviously, you're not your best when you're in pain. And a lot of things that are going on now is that when us sicklers go to the hospital to get treated, some people are judged due to the opioid crisis because they manage the pain with opioids.
Okay.
And even when you go pick it up from the drugstore, it's even more of a hassle. So that could actually throw a wrench in your daily life. You can't get your treatment, as well as, you know, if you're in and out of the hospital, you're missing a lot of paychecks. Like you said, she has 2 kids, so she can't be there for her kids. It's a lot of things. People with school. I mean, last year was my worst crisis in a long time, and I missed work for like a month. And I actually had to, you know, redirect my life in terms of my job direction because I was doing a more intense position at that time, but I had to scale back a bit just because of my sickle cell. So it affects people in many different ways, but mostly the pain is what stops everything.
So with the actual physical pain that we've been talking about and kind of like the lifestyle pain, what does that do to kind of like your psyche? You know what I'm saying? Like, how does it make you feel to know that something that's just completely out of your control?
It's hard, actually. You know, a lot of times I would cry and say, God, why me? You know, I would, even when I was little, I would see other children running around playing where I had to sit to the side and, you know, just kind of rest a little bit. And that's one of the key things of trying to take care of yourself. You have to have enough rest. So I can't do everything that my friends do. I can't stay up all night and do whatever they're doing. So it's a lot.
I can't stay up all night either. By 9:30, I have to go to bed.
Well, yeah,
now. I
but
can't
back
do it.
then, like, let's say you're in college, you know,
Totally.
they want to go to the after party.
Right.
You can't really go because you got to get your rest. Now, I'm not saying that sickle cell, you know, stops you, because obviously, like, T-Boz was like this major pop star. So when she was well, she was well. And that's the same thing with me. Like, it doesn't stop my daily life, but I have to take more precautions than a person who does not have sickle cell.
Absolutely. So you spoke a little bit about kind of the treatments and how opioid is being used as a treatment. I read that some of the main treatments are narcotics, like you mentioned, chemotherapy.
Right, so there's a drug called hydroxyurea, and that's more of a day-to-day drug that people with sickle cell take. I am not eligible to take it just because I don't have pain crises as often.
Okay.
So people with SS type sickle cell or beta thalassemia, they're the ones who are taking the hydroxyurea. And basically the way hydroxyurea works is that it helps produces more of the hemoglobin to prevent a crisis from happening. So basically, if you're having more than, you know, let's say 6 crises a year.
This episode of Hear Me Out was brought to you by our sponsor, Scratch My Batch. Scratch My Batch is a delectable desserts concierge that specializes in pastries that are baked from scratch. With the level of difficulty it takes to create the smoothest custard, lightest mousse, and softest cake, this is what makes their desserts stand out from the rest. Their signature desserts include specialty flavored cupcakes, beautiful colored buttercream, rosette cakes, custom pastries, and baked goods. Their services include dessert tables, dessert catering, and continental breakfast catering. It is their mission to provide the best tasting experience from the freshest ingredients possible. So, have you had your batch scratched yet?
Then you may
Qualify for something like
right.
that. Okay, that makes sense. Also, I read that there is like frequent blood transfusions, and the first thing that popped in my head was like a sort of like dialysis type of thing. Is that mirror?
So yes, that's blood and plasma exchange that does occur. You come in because the hemoglobin, it has to be over a certain number. So if you fall below, let's say like 7.
Okay.
They're gonna watch you.
Okay.
But if you tank down to like maybe 3 or 4, then they're gonna probably do
That's a little bit more like a
blood
higher
exchange.
risk. Okay.
Right, and then that leads into another treatment that a lot of sicklers take. It's called XJade, and so basically when you get the plasma exchange, you may be getting too much iron from those blood cells, and so when you have too much iron, you have to have a drug to get the iron out. So XJade is an iron binding agent, and that's how that works.
It's a slippery slope, it seems like, huh?
Yes, it's like
Sickles
one
are
problem
tough
causes
people.
another.
Yeah, definitely tough people. Like my aunt, she's the strongest person I know.
Yeah.
Also, I was reading and they were saying that people were looking into like holistic treatments, things such as marijuana
Yeah.
or like a plant-based diet or like an all alkaline-based diet. Have you ever thought about that? Toyed with
Well,
that bit?
so I've never personally, because I like to eat everything, but I do make sure I get my fair share of vegetables, because if my hemoglobin is low, I don't have enough iron, so I have to have iron. So I make sure I eat a lot of leafy green vegetables, a lot of broccoli, a lot of Brussels
Love
sprouts.
a good spinach myself.
Yes. So I make sure I eat a lot of those just to kind of keep up with the iron content. In terms of other holistic methods like marijuana, I personally am not a fan, but other people, they take it, whether it's being smoked or it's an edible. It can help a lot with the pain. It can help a lot with the nausea, because a lot of the opioids give me nausea. So that helps also.
Right.
And then other people go for acupuncture or massage therapy, things like that. And there are a lot of infusion centers out there to where you can go and just go get infusions just to build up your fluids.
Okay.
Well, but me, I just kind of stick with the water. As you can see, I have water in my
Guys,
cup.
there's a machine here that has 150 different types of lemonade, soda, and sparkling water. And Krystal just got regular water, but that's fine. That's fine. I love high quality H2O. I'm a fan as well. So it's really funny that you spoke to all the things I wanted to bring up as the host, but it's fine. We talked about some of the cures, right? And so you said that there's right now is the stem cell transplant, but there is also like a bone marrow transplant, right?
Yeah.
And I know that there are like lists and things of that nature, and like you spoke to insurance. And I just want to know, have you or anyone that you've known ever just had like an experience with being on a list and like waiting on a list or being off of a list? You know what I mean?
Right. I honestly don't know anybody, and like I said, my type is pretty manageable versus others who are constantly in and out of the hospital and they're just miserable in pain on a daily basis. There are some sicklers who have to wear oxygen tanks every day, so there's a lot that goes into it. So I personally don't know anybody, but I just, these last few years that I've been seeing, news about the cure and everything, I feel like it's helping a lot of people. We could do more, but it's a work in progress.
Definitely. So let's just be honest. As humans, we tend to judge people, right? We judge people when they're sick. We judge people when we don't like their hair. And you, like I said, spoke to something else that I was gonna bring up. We think that sick people have made a poor decision, or that they're weak or feeble, or that they really just can't keep up, or that they're automatically contagious, just strictly out of ignorance. So if there was anything that you wanted to tell people about sickle cell and about living with it, like if you really just wanted to just ingrain it into their minds, what would you like to just say?
Well, for one, I want everybody to understand that this is an inherited disease. Nobody has control over that. We have a lot more screenings now. Prior to 1989, nobody was really getting screened for it, but now every baby gets screened for it, so at least going forward. So that's important. But I also want people to understand that when people are in pain, they are really in pain. Like there shouldn't be any judgment from the hospital or from the pharmacy in terms of patients getting access to their treatment. They're not drug seekers, they're actual patients, and we have to empathize with them. And I also want people to understand that we actually need to come together to speak out. This is affecting our community. Come on, it's 1 in every 13 people.
That's a lot of people.
So what needs to happen is more funding.
Right.
We actually need more support from people who do not have it also. And, you know, the way you can get that support, reach out to your local Sickle Cell Disease Association. Like we have one, Sickle Cell Disease Association of Illinois. It's located 8101 Southwestern. You can reach out there. You can get all the resources. You can go with them to lobby on Capitol Hill for the sickle cell bills to be passed so that we'll have more funding for this disease.
Absolutely.
Because all these other diseases get funding. You know, you have diabetes, you have the American Heart Association.
Right.
They're getting all these large donations, all this government support. So we just need more support out there.
Absolutely. And speaking in terms of support, so just say, first of all, we've been talking about your friends all night. They sound like a squad to be.
Yes,
okay?
my squad is pretty dope. Hey, y'all.
Her friends, I don't want to mess with her. I'm just gonna say that. But you know, your friends, and so when you say like, oh, you guys, like, I just really can't make it out tonight. Like, how would me being a great friend, like, what would I say to you? Do I check on you? Like, you know, how would it make you feel your best self, or how could I be the best of a friend to you?
So you would say, you know, understand you can't kick it tonight. Just let me know how you're doing.
Right.
I'll check on you in the morning when I come in or something like that.
Right.
My friends have actually been there with me while I was sick. Like my
Wow.
last crisis last year around this time, actually, I was on a trip in San Diego, and I actually got sick after we came back from whitewater rafting. And it was just a build up. So basically your sickle cell just comes at any time. I don't think I've said that earlier. So it could, like, the crisis could just happen, like, boom, just like that. And it's a stabbing pain instantly. And so it got to the point where I couldn't walk. My friends were literally carrying me around. And, you know, I ended up having to go to the hospital there, and they were with me the entire night. Even though it was my friend's birthday, like, she was with me the entire night. So, and even when I came home finally and had to go back into the hospital, my friends were there in the hospital with me, basically every day, checking on me, and, you know, when I get home. So just be that support system that they need.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? And be an advocate, you know, go tell other people about it. Because I educate them all the time, and they're able to talk about it with others.
Right. Well, I want to thank you for joining us. You're very, very insightful, very, very educational. Thank you so much. We wish you nothing but the best.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. If you want to check out this episode or more, or that book review we were talking about, check us out at Read Up Chicago magazine. The Sickle.
What flavor is this? It smells
I
like
want to say
pumpkin.
it's pumpkin.
Oh, I love pumpkin.
Do you really?
BTW, my friends make fun of me because I like pumpkin.
No one likes
So apparently, you know, black people don't like pumpkin, but this black girl loves pumpkin.
Sweet potato or
No.
not.
Yes.
Sweet
Now,
potato
I
or
will
not.
jam on sweet potato, but I enjoy my pumpkin flavors
For
in the
sure.
fall.
Their sweet potato one is really good.
First of all, this shirt though.
Yeah.
This shirt though. Like,
Yeah.
Oh.
Let's talk about that.
Shout out to Brown Designs Inc. My cousin made it. Woo!
Yes, cousin. Yes, cousin. And if you from Chicago and you don't know how to make your way down Western, where your mama stay? Where your grandmama stay? Off Western. Said _ it on Instagram. And how can they keep up with you? 'Cause I love you. I want to root for you. And everything that you do, I want to keep you encouraged. And I just want to keep
Thank
you.
you.
So, if you will have me, I will.
Okay. Well, you and everybody else can follow me at Crispy Treats. So that's KRYSSPTREATS. Crispy Treats.
Grand.